Welcome to your ultimate limitless wealth spot, where millions are made and wisdom learned, infinite heights. Trade disputes shape global economies, and the US-Canada conflict is a prime example. A single tariff can disrupt industries, while strategic countermeasures reshape economic alignments. Initially, the US sought dominance, but Canada's counteroffensive now threatens North America's automotive supply chain, with factories, jobs, and consumer costs at risk. This dispute extends beyond trade rhetoric. What led to this escalation and what comes next? Here are the 7 most crucial developments in this intensifying economic standoff. Before we ride our rocket to infinite heights, please subscribe. It is free to you but tremendously helps us grow. Thank you. I promise to respond to all your comments in return. Now let's dive in. Number 7. Canada's strategic retaliation, a paradigm shift in trade dynamics. Trade disputes are nothing new, but Canada's latest move has shifted the entire landscape of North American economics. In response to the US's sudden imposition of a 25% tariff on Canadian goods, Canada unleashed a well-calculated counterattack. Instead of a broad, unfocused response, Canada surgically targeted American industries where it hurts the most, selecting products and sectors with deep economic and political implications by imposing retaliatory tariffs on key American exports like bourbon from Kentucky, Florida orange juice, and electric vehicles. Canada ensured its response was felt where it matters most, in the pockets of US consumers and policymakers alike. This strategic response is more than just a retaliatory measure. It is an economic warning shot, signaling Canada has the ability to fight back without compromising its own economic stability by ensuring that each targeted product impacts a key industry or political stronghold. Canada has turned what seemed like a routine trade dispute into a full-fledged economic standoff with global implications. Number 6. Tesla in the crosshairs. The trade war's effect on the EV industry. Tesla, a symbol of American innovation, is now in the center of Canada's trade war strategy. The electric vehicle giant relies heavily on Canadian-sourced raw materials such as nickel, lithium, and aluminum, critical elements in battery and car production. By placing restrictions or tariffs on these essential resources, Canada has the power to disrupt Tesla's production lines, sending ripple effects throughout the global EV market. The immediate consequences are clear: higher costs for Tesla, reduced supply of EV components, and an overall increase in electric vehicle prices. Investors are already concerned as Tesla's stock sees fluctuations amid trade uncertainties. More broadly, this move isn't just about Tesla. It affects the entire EV industry, as automakers struggle to secure affordable raw materials in a supply chain that is already stretched thin. Canada's decision to squeeze Tesla's supply chain may be one of the most potent economic maneuvers in this trade war, placing immense pressure on Washington to reconsider its aggressive trade policies. Number 5. The auto industry. At-risk supply chains in disarray. One of the most overlooked aspects of the US-Canada trade war is the delicate and deeply intertwined auto industry supply chain. The manufacturing processes of vehicles and auto parts span across borders multiple times before a car is assembled, from Detroit to Ontario, from Mexico to the Midwest. Factories rely on a seamless flow of materials to function efficiently. The imposition of tariffs on Canadian steel and aluminum disrupts this balance, causing a chain reaction of increased costs, production slowdowns, and job losses. Ironically, the very tariffs designed to protect American manufacturing jobs are achieving the opposite effect, forcing layoffs and factory closures as costs skyrocket. Canada, understanding this fragile interdependency, has taken full advantage by making the auto sector one of the primary battlegrounds in this economic war. As supply chains continue to fracture, the pressure mounts on the US government to de-escalate the situation before irreversible damage occurs. Before we delve deeper, do us a favor and smash that like and subscribe button. This helps us reach more auto enthusiasts just like you. Now let's shift gears and steer towards our next point. Number 4. The auto industry at risk, supply chains in disarray. Number 4. The political repercussions. Trade policy as an electoral liability. Trade wars don't just impact businesses. They influence elections as factory workers, farmers, and consumers begin to feel the pinch of higher prices and job losses. Political leaders in Washington are feeling the heat. Many U.S. politicians initially supported the tariffs, believing they would strengthen American industry. But now, with supply chain disruptions and increased costs affecting ordinary Americans, the political tide is turning in Canada. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau is using the trade war as a rallying cry for national unity, portraying the retaliatory tariffs as necessary to protect Canadian sovereignty. Meanwhile, in the U.S., many lawmakers are rethinking their stance, fearing voter backlash in key swing states with elections looming. Trade policy is becoming one of the most contentious political issues, and the pressure to negotiate a resolution is greater than ever. Number 3. Energy as a strategic asset. Canada's undeployed leverage. Beyond tariffs and trade policies, Canada has another ace up its sleeve: energy. The United States relies heavily on Canadian oil, natural gas, and electricity to power its economy, while Canada has yet to fully weaponize its energy exports. The mere possibility sends shivers down the spines of U.S. officials. Imagine a scenario where Canada reduces oil shipments to the U.S. gas prices could double overnight, causing economic turmoil in major American cities. Electricity shortages in northern states could leave millions in the dark. These consequences would be far more damaging than any tariff or countermeasure currently in place. The fact that Canada has not yet pulled this lever suggests it is reserving it as a last resort, one that could completely reshape North American economic relations if deployed. Number 2. Global reverberations. The trade war's expanding influence. What started as a bilateral trade dispute is now sending shockwaves across the global economy. European nations are adjusting trade policies in response, seeking alternative markets. As North America's economic uncertainty grows, China is capitalizing on the chaos, strengthening trade ties with Canada to replace lost business with the U.S. Developing nations, too, are seeing opportunities to step in where American companies can no longer compete. The longer this trade war drags on, the more the U.S. risks losing its status as a dominant economic force. Trade isn't just about numbers. It's about relationships and trust. And right now, America's reliability as a trade partner is being called into question on a global scale. Number 1. The economic toll. Rising costs for everyday consumers. For all the high-level economic strategies and political maneuvers, the real impact of this trade war is being felt by everyday people. Grocery bills are rising. Gas prices are unpredictable. Small businesses are struggling to afford imported goods. Layoffs in manufacturing are leaving families uncertain about their future. The harsh reality is that economic conflicts don't resolve overnight. Even if a truce were signed tomorrow, the damage to businesses and supply chains would take years to repair. Consumers will continue to feel the effects long after politicians shake hands and declare victory. The question remains, how long will the American public tolerate these hardships before demanding change? The trade war that no one expected. Verdict. The trade war that no one expected. What began as a strategic power move has evolved into one of the most impactful trade wars in modern history. The battle between Canada and the US is no longer just about tariffs. It's about economic influence, political survival, and the shifting tides of global power. Will the US hold its ground and escalate the trade war further? Or will it bow to economic pressures and seek a resolution before irreversible damage is done? The stakes have never been higher, and the consequences will be felt for years to come. What do you think? Are we witnessing a new economic order in the making, or will cooler heads prevail? Please share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. We love to hear from you. For the latest updates on the automotive world and more in-depth analysis, subscribe to Infinite Heights and hit the notification bell. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.